Vicente Pinho, and welcome to another episode of Style Seekers. Today, we're checking out the process and the style of Bobby Rebholz. In case you don't know him, you can search him by Draw Sessions on YouTube, or you can search him by Bobby Rebholz on Instagram and on his art station. He's an amazing creature concept artist. I think he does some characters too. It has a very cool group of projects about like alien planets and about demon portraits and stuff of the sorts. What you're going to be surprised of probably is how much detail he can get by just being a pencil graphite drawing guy. Why did I say it like that? By being an artist that only uses graphite pencils. He's very good at what he does. He has over 30 years of experience, I think. So yeah, today I'm gonna be speaking over the process that I went through to study his own process and kind of give you a runaround of what I learned and how I tried to apply it afterwards. The first thing I did was try to study his own process. And if you have been watching the art talks, you can see that I've been doing this one for a little longer. He has a very cool process where it just allows the shapes to come out from a scribble and try to create the anatomy use his own knowledge of anatomy, of creature anatomy, animal anatomy, to kind of give life to those shapes, you know. But it starts from a very abstract scribble, and he allows the shapes to speak to him. It was kind of hard. During the process of this video, I have been dealing with a lot of back pain. I have a rotated vertebrae on my lumbar, and I have been dealing with a lot of back pain. I'm only speaking with you guys right now through some meds, and if I start rolling up my words, you'll know that I'm getting sleepy from it. And I'm sorry in advance. But because I just took one. But his process is very creative and allows for big creativity. One of the problems that I've had, especially during this week trying to record all of this, was to allow my mind to be open in that way. It's kind of hard to. The point is for you to go into the scribble without knowing what you're drawing, you know, is to go into the scribble without having any semblance of a creature, any thought of what you want it to be in the final product, and just trying to go with it. And I feel like I commit to a type of creature a little too early on, and that kind of castrates the creativity of it, you know. I feel like I should maybe explore for a little longer, maybe try to get some more shapes, try to get some more thumbnails out. Also didn't have enough time this week to do every thumbnail that I wanted to have done at least like double the amount I did. But I feel like it's the hardest part, is to try and not commit to a design for a creature, you know. Not try to think insectoid or mammal or fish-like or bird-like from the get-go or from the first couple of scribbles. It's kind of hard not to see the character pop out right on the beginning, you know. But I did try to go against that, and I feel like I was able to, especially in the last, the fifth and the sixth sketch. I tried to do the drawing, and I tried to start the sketch. I started with some landmarks just to know where the creature is going to be standing on, you know, because it helps me to make it look more lively and more stable. It helps to stop that process of the brain, you know, of trying to make the pose look good, and because it's not the point. But I feel like I was able to do it in the last 3 to 2 sketches, from sketches 5 to 6, you know, or 4 to 5, sorry. And I feel like I was able to do it a little bit better over there. And after that, I went to the second part of this series, which is try to apply it to my own thing. And I've been trying to use the same character the one I used in the first episode, Katame. He's just like a cyclop kind of guy with no legs, and it's very hard. It's a very simplistic character for the style of Bobby Rebholz. I tried to apply some of his graphite shading techniques into my own art, and that kind of helped. But it doesn't look very good. I'm not very happy with it. I didn't have time to do a second one, but I tried to apply it. I tried to apply some of the techniques in shading. I started with a foreground for the scene, and I placed a little human shadow figure and to kind of know the proportions of the creature in relationship to the human, which helps a lot to give a sense of scale. I tried to do a couple of passes on graphite shading and try to go kind of his way. I think I went a little too hard on the outlines of the character, Katame. A little too hard on the outlines because then they were too dark and I couldn't fade it into the fog and the background like Bobby Rebholz does. He does this very cool, gradually shading and with a lot of patience technique, which is something I need to work on, is my tempo while drawing, my rhythm while drawing. I tend to go very fast. I think it's because of my animation background. I tend to want to get pieces done in under a couple of hours, and it usually doesn't pay off very much. I feel like I need to study more in depth that meditative side of drawing and of art making. But I went with the outlines a little too hard, and I was trying not to use the eraser because it's also something he is a highly advisor of, to not use the eraser at all. So I didn't. But I do think I was not able to get that foggy, that creature fading in from the fog type of vibe that he usually does. But with all this said, I was able to learn a few things, especially on the exploratory path. I was able to learn that I am trying to commit to something very early on the process, and I gotta experiment more. I am trying to my shading is not on point, and it's also because of time and patience and tempo, and so I tried to take that onwards for the next piece. Let's see if I got it. Okay, let's be honest, on those parts I didn't get it, okay, but it's important because I did go into it with a different mindset. But as I've told you, I have been having a lot of back pain lately. It's not easy for me to stay a long time sitting down at the desk and trying to draw. This piece was done on the desk, on the couch, on the living room table, on the bus. I've done this piece in small pieces. You might see a few cuts. I'm going to try to mask them out and make editing a little softer. But you might see a few cuts between the recording of the piece making. But it was a very hard week to do all this. It's also the reason why I didn't post last week, because it was a hard week for art making, for studying, for working in general, honestly. But I was able to go into it with a different mindset. I was able to explore a little bit more. I was pretty happy with the shading. I really tried to go into the fur of the squirrel-like creature a little more. Tried to go with the top-down lighting that Bobby Rebholz usually does. I tried to add some scenery elements both on the foreground and on the background, and I feel like it really worked. I feel like it really worked out, and I'm pretty happy with it. I think I could, maybe when I'm feeling a little better, I could try to get a little more into the process, get a little more into the spirituality of it all, and get a little more ambitious with it and try to actually take my sweetest time with it. And I might try to do that for next one, especially because the piece for the next art talk is already done. You can see it on my Instagram page. And since I'm doing shamelessly plugins, like and subscribe. Thank you very much. Comment if you're enjoying it. And but I think I was able. I'm pretty happy with the piece, especially considering how painful it was to actually get it done. I don't think the creature itself is any particularly interesting. It doesn't have a particularly interesting design. It's not particularly complex. Bobby Rebels does use a lot more detail. I think, and one of the things that is lacking a lot on my side is the study of animal anatomy and even human anatomy to a point. I have some semblance of how the human body works, and I have some semblance of how to draw it and how to think about it. Animals, not at all. I don't have any semblance of animal anatomy studies, and I do feel like I need to get into that. And this Style Seeker series, if I'm going to try to go forward with it, it's probably gonna become a little more spaced out, because I do think I have to get some fundamentals in order before I keep tackling all of these creature design elements. You might see some studying also being done on the art talks from now on. Okay, I don't want to force myself to do finished pieces every week, especially when I think I'm not really getting anywhere with them. So yeah, this is becoming an art talk instead of Style Seekers episode. But I was really happy with how it turned out, especially with all of the variants that it involved. So yeah, that was me trying to absorb the process of Bobby Rebels. Maybe when I get a little more advanced, I might try to do another Style Seekers episode on actually the style of Bobby Rebels. But from now, I just wanted to really get the process and trying to understand how he comes up with ideas, how he focuses on the sketchiness of it all, on the scribbliness of it all, and trying to come up with creatures on the spot based on basic shapes and form. I think he's a legend. I think you should check out his work like right now. You should click out this video right as it ends and go search for draw sessions on YouTube. He has a Discord of creature design workshop. You can see me there trying to do his monthly challenges every month. I mean, that's why they're monthly. He has a Discord channel, has a Patreon, he has all of the shenanigans that people are used to, and he's a very just nice, kind human being overall. So definitely check him out. Check out his work if you enjoy creature design. And this was the second episode of Style Seekers. I hope you enjoyed it. It was a blast to do it, even though it was very painful to do it. But I hope you enjoyed it a lot. I learned a lot. I hope you learned something too. See you next week. Bye.